Hey everybody, so I told you this video is going to come out Friday, and I'm glad it did because I wanted to personify and really get out. Okay, no, that's not going to work. God, no. Okay, so I told you the video was going to come out Friday, and look, we're here. And usually I'm really bad with dates, so I want to explain to y'all how this project is really going to be. This project is really a love letter to myself on how I can really formify how I really am. And I've been struggling with the feeling of how I don't really feel like I'm the only me. You ever feel empty inside and you don't know who you are? In the terms of, not even success or any cliche thing you can really say. So I want to describe it as a feeling of not knowing who you are in the sense of a creative expression or your day-to-day life in general. Like some days I go out, walk around, and just, I'm in a social gathering or experience, and I just never feel like I'm really there because I don't know who I am. I feel as if the first step to not knowing who you are is realizing that who you are is somebody nobody can be. I mean, the best way I could describe a recent situation like that is I was in the car with my friend, man, and we were just thinking, like, the things we do, the way we live, individuals, groups, duos, nobody else can do. Obviously, there's other interpretations and aspirations pertaining to the way things are going around and how things are presented. But at the end of the day, nobody is thinking like you. Nobody is you. You do what you do because you feel like it. That energy right there, not even energy, that concept is a living just action. The meaning of nobody can be you is almost so, I'm not going to say brilliant and I'm not going to say inspiring, but it's so self-identifying to problems you may have and ideas you may have. And it's just so crazy whenever you sit down and really realize, like, the things you do, the way you go about your life and choices, decisions, people you meet, the way you talk is all depending on how you are. At the end of the day, the way you are is specialized towards only you because nobody can be you. One of the main things I want to touch down on is, I go by some pretty absurd theories and just learn about absurd theories because that's just really what I want to do sometimes. And it's entertaining to me. And some of those theories quite literally affect my day-to-day life immensely, so I gotta stop sometimes because I get too into it. You get too into certain things, and it's okay. But whenever it starts affecting your day-to-day life, it's not really okay. So you just gotta moderate, and I'm pretty bad at moderating, but working on that. And we're all working on something. We're not perfect. We're all humans, I hope. I don't want no alien watching my stuff. I mean, if you are an alien, though, and you're cool, hit my line, man. Anyways, I really think that our lives are so, like, rudimentary whenever we comprehend it. And one of the main things I tend to think is certain absurdities that we just have around us in our lives are too hard to grasp, and some people just don't want to admit it. And it's not for everybody to think, and it's not for everybody to just wrap their mind around, because everybody's different. And it's crazy to think that there's so many things that cross your mind day after day, and a lot of it just never comes out. And for better or for worse, that's a good thing. But I've been feeling that lately. I ain't gonna lie. I've been wanting to get some things out of my head. I wanted to get some things out of my life. I want to put some things in my life. And I want to get right back on track some days. And every day is a trial. I feel as if it gets harder and harder every day to stay on topic, to respect myself, to respect others, and to keep going full throttle. And some days I can't go full throttle. I have it because, I'm human. I make mistakes. And it's starting to sound like an apology video from one of those YouTubers who screws up or something, but it's not. It's nothing like that. This is more or less just a call to a concept, something I just want to get out because I feel like this is a cool way to do it. And no matter how many views, likes, subscribers, or whatever I get, or whatever I don't get, I'll be perfectly content because I just want to explain this. And yeah, everything will always, well, not everything, but mostly everything, for me at least, and maybe for you, will come to face value. And it's crazy because whenever you really think about it, who are you? Whenever I ask myself that question, I say, my name is Caden. I am really creative. I like doing the things I do in my own container. And I like to share those things sometimes. I'm also highly compassionate. I care a lot about the next person and people who don't care about me, which is really odd, and it can become a problem sometimes for me because I don't like not caring. It's really hard for me to not care. Compassion is one of the things I struggle with the most because it's so in me. Like, I have so much compassion for the next person and the person after that, and just so on and so forth. I feel like it's a problem, but it's not. It's a good problem to have, but it's not whenever it comes against me, because people have used it against me, and like at work, for example, or day-to-day interactions, and I just don't know how to explain myself whenever I'm asked why am I so compassionate. And I feel I'm so compassionate because, I love my kin, I love my friends, I love people who aren't my friends, and I have a lot of heart. I'm not gonna lie. I love. Like I said, I'm not perfect, so I hate. Hate is not a good thing, but hate is a good thing if you can use it as a tool. You can use your hate to fuel something that can turn into something good. My compassion is a tool I use whenever I try to diffuse a conversation that I don't want to be in, or have a tense situation upon me that I don't know how to navigate through. And I help other people with their situations with my compassion, influencing them to make their decision. That's another important thing I want to touch on with compassion that I've learned, is that the more and more you interact with people, you realize that you cannot change them. I mean, I believe I cannot change a person, ever. You cannot change anybody. But you can make an impact upon them enough to where they can change themselves. You can't change a person by yourself without their influence upon them, because they are them and you are you. You're not controlling them. From what I know, there's no such thing as mind control. So I don't see how you can make somebody change. Like, the famous saying my friend says to me is, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. And it's a good analogy. I'll never admit it though. But, you just really can't, because they gotta do what they gotta do. It's for them. It's their choice, their decision. If they want to jump off a bridge into water, they jump off a bridge to water. And where it gets serious for you is, will you jump off with them? The next thing I want to talk about is coming to terms with things. And this is a doozy for me. I really can't come to terms with certain things. Like, I refuse to let certain things die. I refuse to let people go. I refuse to have certain things leave my life. And sometimes I refuse to have certain things enter my life because, it's just, why would I? I live my life and I feel as if I can choose certain things to go the way I want. But at the end of the day, for what I believe in, I feel as if God will not allow me to overstep in certain areas. So the reason why I'm talking about this in general on letting things go is because in order to let things go, it's going to help you find yourself. Letting a weight go off your leg while you're that's hold on. Let's just say you're in a pool, metaphorically, and you have a 20-pound weight on your leg. It's a comfortable weight, and you could breathe underwater, and there's so many avenues that you can go, and you see this big flashy light. You can't go to the flashy light because the weight is on your ankle. What are you gonna do? You gotta unlock it. You gotta let go of the weight to go to the flashy light. I don't know if the flashy light is good or not, but that's just a risk you gotta take. I don't know what analogy that was, but I hope it kind of described what I'm trying to say. I'm not the best at analogies. I pop off every once in a while, but that's just true to word. No matter what analogy it is, it's true to word. You gotta let go. You gotta crawl before you walk. You gotta leap before you fly. You gotta pay before you truly buy. I don't know if that one was good either, but you get what I'm saying, hopefully. And yeah, on to the third and final part. Ooh, got my eye twitching. Got that vein thing that like goes on in your eye whenever you don't get enough sleep, or you just have poor sleep. So I have really bad sleep. But anyways, our third and final part is realizing you. What I mean by that is when you come to terms with who you are, how you are, and what you are, it may not be the end. The process is ever going. And it's up to you to decide if that is okay with you. As of now, I really haven't found myself. I feel like I'm still going through all the steps of the way. I mean, there's more steps, but you make your own steps. What I say in this video can be applied to you, not to you. You may have the same steps as me, you may not. I'm not gonna say they're in order and there's that many, just 3, but there's a whole lot more. And I can go into detail for on and on, but I'm not trying to make the video too long. But I really haven't found myself, and I don't really know who I am, and I don't know if that's okay. I've come to terms with the fact that it is okay to keep going forward to find out who I am. I love the people in my life. I really don't have any enemies in my life. Other than that, I mean, I feel like I'm perfectly fine with the journey I'm heading towards. Letting things go is still a major problem for me. And distance is hard. Like physical distance and mental distance, and just distance is hard, yeah. Self-control is really hard. Acting on impulse. You just gotta give, whenever you're, aiming for the stars for whatever you got going on, are you gonna put in 50, 110, 5. I know I'm trying to put in 100, but it's not always going to be like that, and that's okay. And I struggle with it being okay because, I have a little bit of a perfectionist mindset, but you really just got to touch on down and grip grain, be grateful for what you've got, pray for a better day, and strive and work towards a better day, because it's not just going to come to you in the mail. You got to really get your hands down, get all grimy and dirty and all that other stuff. So, yeah, I mean, when you're looking at the mirror, you're not looking at other people's success. You're not looking at other people's gifts. Your mirror is looking back at you. And every morning you could ask the mirror, how's it going to be? What's next? What's the next person going to do to me? Or what's the next thing that's going to happen to me? I don't know if you ask a mirror. I don't. I mean, that's just an analogy. Like I said, I'm really bad with analogies, so I think I'm going to stop with the analogies. But, I mean, for me, I ask myself every day, who am I? What am I? Where am I? And how am I? And sometimes I can't even answer it. I just got to go. Just got to keep on walking. And that's okay. When it really comes down to it, you've got to realize nobody can be you.